Supermoto vlogging channel. Super exciting episode today, guys. We're gonna be doing all kinds of cleaning to the bike. The whole episode's gonna be cleaning again. Not really, I'm kidding. We do need to clean some parts on it, but no, we gotta get parts. And to do that, we gotta start from the ground up. That means we gotta get some wheels for this thing. It means getting 17-inch rims. Some people don't get that. Just from comments I read. When I say Supermoto, like, oh yeah, cool man, make it a Supermoto. You should put knobbies on it. I'm like, wait, you mean like on the 17s, or do you actually not understand? Maybe you need to Google it, you know, Wikipedia, what Supermoto is, because it's a big part of that is having 17-inch rims. Got a bunch of sponsors already hopped on board with us for this project. I'll reveal some of those as we go. There's some really cool stuff that's gonna be coming in for this thing, like really, really cool. One of them I am gonna tell you about right now is we have Warp 9 on board. It's just great because they're the Supermoto kings. They make a forged wheel, and they also have spoked, you know, normal wire wheel. I know for sure we're gonna go with the wire wheel. If they're kind of riding and abuse we do on them, I'm definitely gonna go with the proper wire wheel. Those forged wheels, I understand, actually are pretty darn tough. I've known people have had them so they don't have problems with it and do all kinds of goon stuff. I want the wire wheel. But there's still even tons of options even within that. Like, should I go with cush drive, not cush drive? I think the biggest thing that's driving me nuts is all the color options. If you go to Warp 9's website, they've got all these crazy colors you can pick. Different, like you can make the hub, the spokes, everything different colors. That I cannot decide at all. I'm gonna need y'all's help with that. Crazy red, white, and blue set of wheels. That's kind of like Honda colors. What if I had yellow rims? They have like a fluorescent yellow rim available. It's kind of a neat look too. You know, FZ, it kind of grew on me. I wasn't so wild about it at first. I just thought it was kind of an interesting color. Now I love it. I've been looking at the colors for a while and I just can't make up my mind. So do me a favor, like go over to their website, link is down in the description. Click on that link, it'll take you right to the Supermoto page and build a set of wheels. Like I said, you can do all the colors all sorts of ways. Comment down below what colors you think I should do. Or heck, maybe even take your phone, do like a screenshot of it and like tag me on Instagram. Tag Warp 9 too if you do that. Of course, to really come up with a proper, you know, color scheme, you gotta know what kind of plastics, what color plastics we're getting. I mean, these are all kind of the stock ones that are beat up or cracked or busted. I know I'm replacing the stock plastics, red and white the way it came, or you can get like some UFO black plastic. And of course, you go with black, something like those yellow rim setup might actually look super cool. But there is one problem with the black plastic idea. Like I said, you can get all the plastics in different colors. What you can't get is a stock OEM tank, which I got right here, in any color but red. And by the way, yeah, I did get one of these. This is from one of my Patreons. Small World hit me up and said, hey, are you looking for a stock tank? I can sell you mine. He gave me this for a really good deal. I'll still keep my big old mega red tank, which is over there in the corner. Stock tank is red. It only comes in red, so what if we want it black? Is that even possible? The only ways to get a black tank on that bike is either to get an aftermarket tank, which I'm not really interested in. Like, I already have an aftermarket tank. They're all really big and huge because they're aftermarket tanks. I know a lot of people have been telling me, oh, you're gonna want that aftermarket tank. I'm telling you, the tank's gonna run out so fast. But dude, I ride with other Supermoto guys. We ride around town. Like, trust me, I had a 3-gallon tank on my WR450 and it was nice. But all it really meant is that I got to sit out through one gas stop every time we went for a ride. We still have to stop all the time, riding with dudes on Supermoto bikes or urban riding. We're always having to stop at gas stations because we got dudes out there with tanks that'll go 40, 45 miles and then they're hitting reserve. There is a tank out there you can get from Italy. It's like this aluminum tank that lets you put CRF plastics on the front of it. Try not to go too far down this side path real fast, but I know people are gonna ask about it. When you go with the CRF plastics, particularly on the rear section, you're talking about doing a lot of Frankensteining it. I know some of them look pretty clean when they're done, but if you actually read about how they do it, look it up. There's plastic welding and riveting. It's like, you remember the subframe stops at the back seat. Plastic on the back of a dirt bike, you need to be able to pick the bike up and move it around. They're usually very thick and structural. You can lift the bike, the whole back end of the bike, with just this piece of plastic. You have to literally cut this thing along here somewhere and plastic weld and rivet it on. Not to mention, at the end of the day, it's an XR. Why does it need to look like a CRF? So I'd have to spend over $400 for an aluminum tank, and they would still have to paint it, and you know that thing's gonna dent the first time you drop it, and then what, you know? So I don't think we're gonna go that route either. You can't paint or coat or wrap a plastic dirt bike tank because these things actually vent fumes from out of the tank. It's why even putting graphics over them can sometimes give you trouble. They have to be perforated and made to be on a tank, and even then they often get bubbles and stuff in them. There is a possibility out there. This is the secret stuff right here. So Apparently you can dye these things. Look online, there's actually examples of people doing this. RC guys and gun guys have been doing this a long time. They'll do it to their stocks. There's a number of guys that do it on motorcycle gas tanks as well. When it comes to the motorcycle tanks, so the only example I've been able to see is people turning a blue tank into a black tank. I think it's on some of the YZs or WRs, but I've never seen anyone doing it with red. I'm also questionable of how long it'll last. How deep does this penetrate into the plastic? There's a lot of unanswered questions. From what I understand, at some point the mixture changed. There's a guy who's got a real great video out there. Unfortunately, doesn't seem to make the videos anymore, but he basically goes through an entire fill process where he turns his blue tank purple and then figures out he's got to use the more high dollar dye. I didn't get the more high dollar dye right now because this is like $1 something. I got a couple packs of these. The crazy high dollar dye is like $33 for a pack. This is something I don't even know for sure I'm gonna do. I'm willing to give it a shot. With a test piece basically, just to see, is it possible? I went to Walmart and got me the cheapest crap pot I could get because it's definitely going to ruin it. In the guy's video, he takes a big stainless steel pot for like frying a turkey and does it in there. Definitely ruins that. If I actually do end up doing this big scale, I've got an idea involving a trash can and a torch and stuff. I've got an idea. It sounds sketchy. I'm willing to bet if I can get this to work, I know I can get this to work, or more specifically that to work, the stock tank over here. Which I don't even know if I'm gonna do. I just wanna know if it's an option. Went inside, hit with the scrub brush real quick when my wife wasn't looking. You know, did you use my scrub brush for that? No. Got a square knot. All right, that should keep it down. Right. Doing this out in the backyard because I have no idea if this is going to create a lot of fumes or anything. It's like a cup or something, so that's a good amount, right? One guy's got that good video on it, but unfortunately he's like disappeared off of YouTube, so I can't ask him any questions or anything. I don't know. Go to his newest comments, people are like, is he dead? Where did he go? Like, oh great, it's been 2 fucking years. Always makes you wonder, right, when the moto guys disappear. I'm gonna put 2 of these packets in. I have no idea what's right, honestly. This dude's just like eating the fuck out of some moths. I'm gonna die out here. Check it in 30 minutes and see if it did anything. You should definitely do this outside. Literally just standing next to it. Some of the fumes that are coming off of it now, pretty rough. I mean, sure you can get the scent of vinegar that's in there, but there's definitely something else going on. I wouldn't do this in your house. The bad deal is we ran out of propane. A lot of people did this like bucket method. The hot water, and you put your part in the bucket with the boiling water and all the stuff, and you let it sit overnight. It was probably boiling at least half the time. I'll just let this sit overnight. It's been 24 hours. 24 hours of soaking in our concoction. We've gone from this to this. This is unprecedented here. We've gone from a red to a little bit darker red. Probably not the quite the result we were going for. To be fair, a lot of things didn't go right. We ran out of propane. Actually, if you're gonna let it soak like that overnight, they really say to kind of like insulate it a bit. We also didn't use the right formula that like that one guy was saying. If we use that extreme stuff, it works better. I'm curious as to how deep this went here. I've got this little razor. I want to just kind of, if I can't kind of mark into this here and see. Okay, that's interesting. It's actually into it a little bit. So here's the deal. Yeah, I think if we did the formula exactly the way the one guy did in the video, I mean, those packets of that stuff were like $30-something, okay? I had to at least see if this was possible. Despite it being as garbage as this is, and it's all swirly and weird, I think it is possible to do. I'm not super, like, convinced though either. Probably, if we did enough dye and enough time and enough heat, probably could. I was honestly getting worried about this at one point when the camera was off and when it was before the propane went out. I got out there and I grabbed it by this corner. It was kind of hanging out. I lifted it. It was very soft. Now the tank's a much thicker piece and structural, so it would probably be okay, but it does give me some concern as to what would happen if that thing was sitting on the propane, in a boiling propane thing. Now I have to figure out how to dispose of this in a way that makes sense. You don't pour this down a toilet. It's porcelain white. The neighbors moved out. Got an idea. I'll be right back. I feel like I just kind of jumped into it without ever really getting to the idea of what exactly it is I want to do with this bike. Being that it's a 650 Supermoto bike, part of the goal is to have a Supermoto that can actually chomp down the highway without sounding like it's gonna explode. I mean, I don't plan to take this thing on long distance trips or anything crazy. 650cc Supermotos are normally like, you know, KLRs, DRs, XR650Ls. This is an R, not an L. This is water cooled. So there's no fins on the motor. Those are all sort of tractor motors, you know. They're very torquey motors. They don't make a lot of horsepower. 30-40 pounds heavier than this bike is with half the horsepower. But they do have electric starts, and they will chug around the world like that without blowing up. The only other way to get a big CC Supermoto bike is to go to something like a KTM 690 or a Husqvarna 701. Now you guys know I rode the 701 on that ride out, and that thing was awesome. It's a great bike. I've said it 100 times that if you could only have one bike, that's probably one of the best bikes you could get because it actually could be daily driven and it's still a total Supermoto bike when you want it to be. Why didn't I get one of those? Well, they're damn expensive. One of the things that I didn't like about that bike, and this is mine. I want to say I'm not trying to trash that bike and say this one's better than that one. They're a different experience. The 701 is so smooth and it's mellow. It's weird. It's got the biggest production single built right now. It's definitely geared to tall stock. I know you could fix some of that sort of mellowness it has by just changing the gearing on it. I mean, for God's sakes, we were hitting like 130 miles an hour. Not only a lot more affordable, so definitely a different experience though. Just what I thought would be fun to have. What do I want to do with this thing? We're going for street Supermoto, which means it's a little bit of a do-everything bike. Obviously, we want to run Supermoto wheels on it, a really big brake kit. We can do some suspension work to it, use a little bit of performance stuff. It sounds lame to say, and I'll try to elaborate on it, but where it's a good all-around street Supermoto. I want to be able to take this thing to the track, but I don't want to make it like a track only style bike. I don't plan to put like a handbrake or anything on here. I'm not trying to turn it into a pure stunt bike. I want it to be able to trail ride well, I want it to be able to run the streets well. I want the biggest thing that this bike sucks at is having to kickstart it. This bike isn't that hard to start, and we got some carb stuff also coming for this bike. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I don't think starting this thing's gonna be hard once we change the carburetor out. It's cold now. It's been raining non-stop. I mean, you know, I'm not even like depressed that the bike isn't done. Started it, I was all upset because I was like, oh, it's getting cold out. Winter's coming. Lord of the Rings. I should take my titties out. Not Lord of the Rings. What's it called? Game of fucking Thrones, man. You guys always act like I go through WD-40 like crazy. This jug I bought almost 2 years ago and I finally ran it out cleaning the bike. I wonder if the fumes will light. We got pretty good, out of your fly. I really just can't breathe anymore. We'd have to actually try to make, we'd have to make this tank black. How do we say that fucking right? Keep getting this spider out and he like keeps jumping back in. Propane and propane accessories.